We're going to look at part 3 of this PowerPoint series on our 2.5-inch hose operations in high-rise buildings, and we'll be working on mostly nozzle handling techniques throughout this PowerPoint. Our objectives are to identify and demonstrate various nozzle handling techniques for the 2.5-inch hose, and to look over a few of the frequently asked questions throughout the course given in Area 2 on the A-ship. A 2.5-inch hose with 1.25-inch tip is designed to flow high volume at low pressure. Excessive pressures can quickly lead to a failed operation. We're trying to get 50 psi nozzle pressure for a smoothbore nozzle, and even pressures down to around 35 or 40 psi can still provide a very effective stream. We did one flow down to 30 psi on this 1.25-inch tip, and it still produced north of 250 gallons a minute. One thing you need to be aware of is your nozzle reaction, and these are some of the things we'll try to identify some handling techniques to reduce this nozzle reaction on an engine company. Nozzle handling techniques described are designed for the firefighter to use his and her entire skeletal system rather than small muscle groups to handle the line. Additionally, the methods are designed to transfer the energy of the line to the ground and help combat nozzle reaction. Regardless of any technique that you use, it's important to keep the nozzle well out in front of the firefighter. I recommend the pistol grip not even be utilized whenever you're using this particular nozzle. That pistol grip can be used to hang over a railing or to use it to pull the hose as you're advancing it down a hallway, but you really need to get a good 2 feet or so out in front of you with this nozzle to be able to handle it. Important numbers to remember is 50 psi nozzle pressure, and friction loss in the stretch is approximately 20 psi per 100 feet of hose. Let's look at this method 1. We'll just call it the shoulder strap method. Take a piece of webbing that you might have, that everybody should keep one in their pocket. If not, you might want to put 2-3 straps in your standpipe bag. Tie a girth hitch about 6 feet back from the nozzle. If you would, you'll go ahead and turn away from the nozzle and place that loop over your inside shoulder with your back to the nozzle. Then after you put that strap over your inside shoulder, do a complete about face and 180 turn, and that locks that strap in on your shoulder. Again, if you'll notice that the nozzle is well out in front of the firefighter, we'll recommend that you do not utilize the pistol grip for this. If you can try to get that hose anchored to your hip, it would be better to absorb that nozzle reaction. Backup firefighter, do whatever you can to deliver that line to the ground if you can, or this particular illustration shows another firefighter with a shoulder strap on. All right, welcome back everybody. My name's Clay Bramblett. I got Larry Coleman, he's a nozzle man on this demonstration. And this particular demonstration will be method 1. It'll be a shoulder strap method. I got Jerry Gallimore, he'll be a backup man on this demonstration. And this type of demonstration is using the webbing strapping as much as you can to take the nozzle reaction off of the firefighter, be it the outside attack or inside of a high-rise type of attack with this 2.5-inch hose. We'll start out with we'll put a girth hitch in this strapping, try to come back about 6 feet back from the nozzle as much as you can. Firefighter will start with his back to the nozzle and then put this strap over his inside shoulder. After that, you do just a complete 180 turn. That locks in the strap on his shoulder, and then he's trying to get this out as much as he can in front of him, just as far as he's got to reach to turn the bell of the nozzle on. If you'll notice here, he doesn't have his hand on this pistol grip. He's got his hand locked in on this hip area right here, and that will prevent any type of kink in the line as well. All right, so go ahead and try it on here, Larry. That's a really good method to utilize right here. Again, this firefighter, on every method, he's just delivering that nozzle reaction to the ground. He can put the strap on, this firefighter, if he has one too, and just mirror exactly what he did there if you want to utilize that. But this right here is just a good basic method. After it's turned off, you can use that strap to help advance the hose or whatever you need to do. But again, we'll just call this the shoulder strap method, and you got a good lock in, and everything we're doing is taking that nozzle reaction off those firefighters, trying to ease the workload. So that's it on method 1, the shoulder strap method. Thank you. We'll look at method 2 here. We'll call it the clamping method. Note that the nozzle remains well out in front of the firefighter, just close enough to shut the nozzle off if necessary. The firefighter's back leg is clamped over the hose in a manner that uses the firefighter's weight to transfer the energy of the line to the ground. Everything that we do on any of these methods, we're going to try to deliver this nozzle reaction to the ground. Method 2, furthermore on this, backup firefighter going to be in the same position here. Again, each and every one of these evolutions of nozzle handling techniques, that backup firefighter, if and when they can, just deliver that, anchor that line to the ground. That's the best thing they can do to assist the nozzle man. Okay, welcome back everybody. This is another portion of the, I guess we'll call this method 2 of our nozzle handling techniques for 2.5-inch hose. On our nozzle here, we got Mike Chafin here, and he's going to demonstrate the, I guess we'll call it a clamping type method. With his foot is over the hose itself, and he's kind of got it clamped in, locked in there, and still, again, we're going to have as much of this hose as in bail of the nozzle out in front of him as possible, a good 2 feet, and try to prevent any type of kinks we might have down here. And each and every time we have the backup firefighter, all he's doing is trying to take this nozzle reaction with the delivery of that hose down to the ground and anchoring that, and that will help greatly with this nozzle reaction whenever he turns it on. So Mike, if you go ahead and see how it does. This method here is a good technique to, if you need to get locked in place here, and he just kind of got a clamp over the hose itself, and that works out pretty well. There's different types of techniques that works for different people, and this one here proves to be beneficial to certain types of firefighters, however they like the best. So you just have to get out there and train and see what works best for your companies. So that being said, we'll go to the next clip. Thank you. Look at the method 3. It's kind of a nozzle forward type technique. Again, as all of these, the nozzle is well out in front of the firefighter and just close enough to shut the nozzle off if necessary. Your backup firefighter using his or her weight to transfer the energy of the line to the ground. And if you'll notice, the nozzle firefighter has got a knee up in this particular position. The hose is anchored inside the hip area, and that elbow is on the inside of that thigh. Try to shift your momentum as much forward as possible. All right, welcome back. My name's Clay Bramblett. I got Jerry Gallimore on the nozzle up here and Mike Chafin as backup man. We're going to demonstrate the method 3 of some of the nozzle handling techniques that we've been trying to put on our PowerPoint and some of our training lessons. So this method here is going to be mainly where a firefighter might have his knee up and shifted forward as much as possible. He'll have his elbow on the inside of his thigh, and that will assist with locking in this hose line, as well as locking in against his hip as well. And the backup firefighter in each one of these demonstrations, all they're going to do is try to deliver this nozzle reaction to the ground, and he's going to anchor this back here in the back. So again, we try to have as much of this nozzle out in front of you, just as much as you have to reach, turn the bail of the nozzle on, and this will help assist with this type of technique. So go ahead and turn on the nozzle and see how you do. And if you'll notice the way he shifted forward, and he's got a lot of nozzle out in front of him, and that's just going to be a good method to be able to handle this type of method here. We'll call this time method 3, and just for demonstration purposes. And if they need to advance the line, they can shut the line off and pick it up and move forward as much as they need to from there, okay? So that's going to be your demonstration for method 3, and each and every one of these will be as much as this nozzle rack can deliver to the ground. So thank you now, and we'll see you on the next video. Let's look at some FAQs been asked throughout the course. And why are we going with the 2.5 inch hose and not the rapid attack pack or any other type of 1 3/4 hose? The 2.5 inch hose is designed to flow large volumes of water at low pressures. We have several PRVs in Dallas that might have lower than 65 psi out of an outlet. That produces, with that type of pressure in a PRV, you can still get an acceptable flow in gallons per minute out of the 2.5 inch hose. Should this method of packing the hose be utilized department-wide on all 3 shifts? That's exactly what we're shifting to, and we're going to be utilizing the Denver hose load, and it has been adopted department-wide as a standard method for packing the HighRise hose packs. Standardization of the hose packs will facilitate merging lines between different companies should that be necessary. You'll have 2 companies come up with 3 sections of hose apiece, and you're going to have to merge your lines together. I'm not saying you're going to put 6 sections of hose in service for that particular fire attack, but it's having everybody on the same page whenever you show up to floor below the fire, and having your hose packs in the same manner will make for a better operation. Discharge pressures on the engine and or the standpipe will fluctuate greatly. Everybody needs to be aware of all the pressures needed. For example, if you're going to use 3 lines, 150 feet, you want to try to get 80 psi going on your pressure gauge, and that's with the water flowing. If you're pumping from the outside into the building, you might just be pumping to the roof. If it's PRVs, whatever you're doing, you need to make sure all your pressures are set with water flowing. There's going to be many times as you shut the nozzle off, your pressures will jump up greatly. As you open up the nozzle, it's going to come back down wherever you set your line. Especially if you're the standpipe operator, after you get the water flowing, prior to going down the hallway, go ahead and set it at 80 with water flowing, then let that engine company go ahead and shut their line off. Then leave it alone after that. You can go and facilitate helping move lines from below around the standpipe, but just kind of stay in communication with your officer or your company if they need to increase the pressure or shut the line down. It's going to be critical that the standpipe operator be aware of the pressures needed based on the length of the stretch. Excessive or improper operating pressures are the heart of almost every failed operation with 2.5 inch hose. Too much pressure will greatly affect the personnel at the nozzle and make the line nearly impossible to handle. Don't just open up that valve all the way and walk away. It's going to be needed to adjust the pressures, whatever you have. Use that cheat sheet on that pressure gauge to get your company whatever kind of pressures they need. But to give someone that's flowing 3 sections of hose 150 pounds of pressure, you would park them against the back wall and they wouldn't be able to utilize operating that line. So be aware of that is a problem. Let's be all on the same page with that. Other duties your standpipe operator, he or she can be doing after the line is flowing. Just remember, that person inside the building is pretty much your driver. He's going to ensure that you got the correct pressures. After you did that, go around and make sure all your hose is stretched out, help facilitate moving it down the hallway from the floor below, bringing it up the stairwell. Just stay in communication, kind of stay in that range just like a driver would. Increase the pressures or adjust the pressures, whatever's needed throughout that operation. Is this a change to the procedures for our HighRise operations? No, it's just a good familiarization for all the people involved, and knowing that we need to train on this more and more. This will probably end up being a part of our company evolutions throughout the future. How many sections do we start with for the attack line? It all depends. Most of the times we recommend it's all be part of your size up. Even pre-fire planning, utilizing digital sandbox. If you got a building that you know you need to start with 4 or 5 sections on a particular fire floor, you might notate that in your digital sandbox. But most of the time you'll get off, go up and see what you got, try to see how many rooms deep that particular fire is, come down and formulate a plan after all your attack team is together. You're not going to use, if you got two companies coming up with a total of 6 sections of hose, you're probably not going to use 6 sections for that operation. Just go up and see what you need, and stage the rest of your equipment off to the side. What do we do with this large 2.5-inch gated valve that's in our standpipe kit? Whenever that was handed out, that was a confusion where that is to be utilized. It's really meant to go in your plug kit. An on and off valve that's a lot of weight is not meant for our standpipe bags. It was just pushed out at the same time we received some of our other 2.5-inch hose pack type kits. Just more weight, put it in your plug kit. Do we have to carry the hose over SCBA? No, just use whatever is best for your company. That one particular method over your SCBA is just a recommended method to free up your hands. Use whatever's best for your company.